everyone, I'm here for week 3 of our reading challenge. Remember, week 1 was all about character. Last week was week 2, and that was all about setting. This week, we're going to talk about plot. Remember, the plot of a story is a series of events that make up the story. So what happens in the beginning, the middle, and the end? And often there's a problem that gets solved by the end. This week, I'm going to do a read aloud so we can talk about what plot is. My read aloud is going to be of the story Sloth Slept On. And if you know me very well, I love sloths. So I hope you like this story. He wasn't like any other creature we had ever found in the backyard. We asked him his name. We asked what he was doing up in our tree, but there was no answer. He was asleep. We had lots of questions, so we set off to find some answers. First, we asked Dad what he thought, but he was busy. We looked in all the books we could find. They were full of pictures and words and places and things, but there was nothing that looked like our new friend. We knew he wasn't an elephant. He didn't have a trunk. He wasn't a tiger either. He didn't have any stripes. He wasn't a horse or a bear. He let out a loud snore. He was still asleep. Perhaps he didn't belong in our backyard at all. Maybe he had traveled for a very long time from somewhere far away. Maybe he was a ferocious pirate who had been sailing the seas and was sleepy from all of his adventures. He might even be a brave knight who was exhausted from spending all his time fighting dragons. Look, he's not an elephant or an astronaut or a pirate or a knight. He is an animal called a sloth. We learned that our friend usually lives in the beautiful rainforests of Central and South America. This sloth is a type called a three-toed sloth who uses his strong grip to stay in the trees. Sloths move very, very slowly. The sloth is a very sleepy animal. He can sleep hanging in a tree for up to 20 hours a day. Sometimes a sloth lives in the same tree in the rainforest for years at a time. The rainforest has all the things that a sloth likes to eat, like leaves, fruit, twigs, and even bugs. The rainforest sounded wonderful. We decided there was only one thing to do. We found a nice big box and used all the stamps we could find. We packed him some lovely leaves to eat and toys for the journey. We were so happy the sloth had come all the way from the rainforest to visit. We would miss him lots, but we were glad that he would be waking up back where he belonged. The sign on the tree says, "Missing. If found, please return to the zoo." Deep in the rainforest, the sloth finally stirred. He had been having the most wonderful sleep. He slowly lifted his head, looked around, and said, "Excuse me, which way is the zoo?" And that's the end of our story. So let's think about the plot of this story. Remember, the plot is what happens in the beginning, the middle, and the end of the story. So in the beginning, the children found their mystery animal. Then in the middle, they tried to discover what their animal was. They looked in books, they asked their dad, they finally figured out that their new friend was a sloth, and they learned a lot of facts about the sloth. Then, in the end, they sent the sloth back to the rainforest, which in the story is not where he belonged. So that was the plot of this story. Here's your challenge. For your stories that you read this week, I want you to think about the plot. I want you to write about the plot. What happens in the beginning, the middle, and the end of your story. If you're in kindergarten, you can draw a picture of the beginning, the middle, and the end, and then try to write a sentence about each. If you're in first grade, also draw a picture of the beginning, the middle, and the end, and write 1 or 2 sentences about what happens in each of those parts. For my older friends in 2nd through 5th grade, your job is to write a summary of the plot of your story. Remember to give me details. Tell me what happened from the beginning, the middle, and the end, and try to remember to include the problem and how it might have been solved by the end. Good luck and happy reading!